Hello.
What's this? The mighty British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC, signed a deal with YouTube to create bespoke content for the platform? Well, that's a team-up no one was expecting in 2026. Sounds like one of those 90-Day Fiancé matchups, but if you can't beat them, join them, right? The venerable BBC, the very symbol of Britishness, was beaten by YouTube with the video sharing site turned mega streamer surpassing the billion-dollar budget BBC in viewership. How the hell does that happen? Well, the reason is precisely why the Beeb has its sights set on YouTube, a fierce competitor, to build an alliance. And you, yes, you are a big part of that reason. You, the audience, the consumer, even the content creator are the spoilers in this ongoing battle for attention share between legacy media and digital media.
The war for the internet has begun.
You're redefining the entertainment, news and communications landscape on platforms like YouTube. So why is the BBC coming down from its lofty perch to buddy up with YouTube?
How did YouTube go from a failed dating site on the edge of bankruptcy to the second most viewed website in the world?
Well, the YouTubes has morphed into a sprawling, diverse platform that is a dynamo of cultural relevance, attention and revenue, albeit indirectly. It stopped being a merely video sharing channel years ago. So by producing content that's native to YouTube through creators with a track record of creating content for the platform and on the platform, the BBC can theoretically tap into younger audiences inside the UK and new audiences outside of the UK with a platform that already has global ubiquity. But what does YouTube get out of this? Well, what do you get for the person who has everything? More of it, of course. While YouTube has a hugely diverse content offering and an audience to match, there is tremendous value in having the BBC feather in its cap. The Beeb's high-quality standards and brand have inbuilt universal appreciation around the world. So the addition of BBC-commissioned documentaries, dramas, comedies to the smorgasbord of content on YouTube can attract, well, maybe a different demographic, one still tethered to other streaming platforms like Netflix or traditional television. Now, is the YouTube-BBC deal a good thing or a bad thing for creators? Naturally, content creators on YouTube might worry that fierce competition on the platform will be further intensified by the entry of a new player with a history of high production values. For example, how can someone who creates documentary-style videos for YouTube compete with similar BBC programming?
And that's not all. This is the most populous place on the planet.
Well, BBC producers have big budgets, sprawling archives and more experts on call. That can make content creators on YouTube feel like they're turning up with a knife to a gunfight. More likely though, viewers will appreciate having more choice in a niche that they follow. It's worth mentioning that YouTube doesn't work exactly the way television does. YouTube viewers tend to binge watch in a niche. When someone gets caught up in a topic that they're really into, they want different versions, different takes. So one video is rarely ever enough. A viewer might look at one video on cutting household costs and then think, well, what other ways can I trim my monthly expenses?
Rome.
A history buff, for example, doesn't watch one documentary on the Roman Empire and say, well, that's enough for me. It's the same with comic book fans or people interested in geopolitics. They'll watch 5 or 50 videos on the same subject from different creators. So in that sense, the BBC getting in on the YouTube game isn't really going to eat anyone's dinner. I have a theory. More high-quality content, and I'm not talking about production values here, fancy cameras and big production teams, no. High quality as in better storytelling, more interesting topics. That can actually increase audience demand, which can boost visibility for everyone in their respective content niche. As the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. Also, while the BBC has the quality, they don't have the volume to satisfy the voracious appetite of YouTube viewers who are accustomed to a feed that refreshes every 2 seconds. So there's space for everyone. Making a space for yourself on YouTube, that's another story. Getting traction on here can be quite challenging. Ultimately, the influence of high-quality, credible BBC programs on YouTube could also push content creators to bone up on their storytelling, production, and audience engagement. For the BBC production teams, Well, they will be able to measure audience reaction through real-time comments. They also have the engagement and YouTube's granular analytics. When you're spending significant amounts of money, knowing what's working, what's not, and why in the shortest possible time, well, that's immensely useful. Will the YouTube-BBC deal be successful? Well, it may be too soon to count those chickens, but a partnership between the BBC and YouTube is concrete proof of the continued blurring of the boundary between traditional media and the platforms that change the way we watch and behave. Will more traditional platforms start creating bespoke content for YouTube? Where do you see this going for the future of content creation on the platform? Let me know what you think in the comments below.